There will be time for you guys to sign in before you speak as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm opening this meeting of the Platting Board at 1 p.m. Madam Secretary, the roll, please.
Plotting member Shavetta.
Present.
Plotting member Liebing.
Present.
Plotting member Gilson.
Present.
Plotting member Traxler.
Present.
Plotting member Kevin.
Present.
Plotting member McBride.
Present.
Plotting members that are absent and excused is plotting member Salmon. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Can we stand for the pledge? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion to approve today's agenda?
I move to approve today's agenda.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve March 5th minutes?
I move to approve the minutes from March 5th meeting.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any changes or objections to last meeting's minutes? Okay, it's been approved. I didn't do that for the agenda. But I just did that for the minutes. Asked if there was any objections and nobody said anything. Okay, I'm going to open public testimony for persons to be heard, present or online, for items not scheduled for public hearing.
Good afternoon, Ellery Gibbs. I've been doing subdivisions for a while here in the Matsu Borough. I was here when the International Fire Code was the rage here on the Platting Board. I would encourage all of you to please stay away from it. We've already dealt with it. Legal weighed in. It does not apply in this situation for residential. If it does apply, it applies inside the cities where there are zoning. We don't have zoning here in the Matsu Borough at large right now, and it will come at some point. But right at this moment, I just definitely wanted to speak. I was here at the last Platting Board meeting and it started to come up. And please, it was a long, drawn-out, unpleasant process. And Mr. Vaudel, who was on the board, was the champion of it. And there were a number of my subdivisions where there was an argument on it. And it finally had to have legal step in to do something about it. And Mr. Vaudel made a symbolic gesture on a lot of subdivisions to vote them down even when they were following code. And I would appreciate it if you all please stay away from the IFC on this. The International Fire Code does not need to be brought up again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ellery. Would anybody else like to speak on items not scheduled for public hearing? Is there anybody online? All righty, I'm closing public hearing. Losing my papers here. Okay, so for unfinished business, we have Feather Lake. The request is to create 8 lots from parcels 217 North, 04 West, 13A002 through A006, and 17 North, 04 West, 13B004 to be known as Feather Lake, containing 168.2 acres plus or minus. The plat is located east of Horseshoe Lake, north of West Lakes Drive, and north of Big Lake, located within the northeast quarter, section 13, Township 17 North, Range 04 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska, in the Big Lake Community Council and in Assembly District Number 5. To the board. Do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing none. Have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision outside of the public process provided by the borough? Seeing none. Are you able to be impartial in this decision? Seeing an affirmative, Madam Secretary, the mailing report, please.
There was 23 public notices mailed January 19th, 2026.
Thank you very much. Staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Cayman Reynolds, Platting staff. Per the request, there are actually 10 lots per the redesign, which should be in the agenda plat. Agenda plat. Per the geotechnical report, one test hole is excavated on lot 1. The remaining lots are all in excess of 400,000 square feet and do not require subsurface data. The test pit was advanced to a depth of 12 feet below ground. Groundwater was observed at 10 feet in a clean gravel layer. Please see the attached soils log and sieve analysis results for additional details and descriptions. In regards to the topographic profile of the existing lot and lack of proximity to surface water within 100 feet of the usable septic area in the proposed subdivision, there does not appear to be any limitations for the usable area as defined in 43.20.281A. Based on the collected data from the soils investigation and observations, each lot will have at least 10,000 square feet of usable building area and 10,000 square feet of contiguous land that may be used as a septic area as required by MSB's 43.20.281 code requirements. As for comments, with one exception, there were no objections or concerns received from bureau departments or outside agencies at the time in the staff report. Land and Resource Management objects to the creation of a runway that appears to rely on the adjacent MSB-owned property for its runway safety areas. Alaska Department of Fish and Game comments that the plat does not require a habitat permit at this time, but may require a permit if the property owner intends to withdraw water, modify banks, has in-water work or work at or below the ordinary high water line on either Feather Lake, Horseshoe Lake, and or the unnamed stream. At the time of the staff report, there were no responses to the requests for comments from U.S. Army Corps of Engineer, Community Council Big Lake, Fire Service Area Number 136 West Lakes, Road Service Area Number 21 Big Lake, MSB Emergency Services, Community Development, Pre-Design, or Development Services. There are 13 comments and inquiries received from the public concerning the topics detailed in the handouts. In addition to the runway, wetlands, and permitting inquiries, it is my understanding that we've also been given another handout as of 25 minutes ago or so. Staff recommends approval of the Feather Lake subdivision with the 7 findings of fact and 5 conditions of approval.
Thank you very much. Any questions for staff? Go ahead.
You said there was 10 lots designed on this, and there was a handout given for that? I didn't see it. I'm still seeing it.
It should be the agenda plat for the redesign.
Okay, I see it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Is the petitioner or the petitioner's representative present would like to speak at this time?
Good afternoon, board members and staff. My name is Chris Wallstrom, co-petitioner for the Feather Lake subdivision. Thank you for the opportunity to speak first. Today's decision is a Title 43 preliminary plat decision. My request is narrow: approve a compliant preliminary plat, creating 10 lots with standard conditions staff recommends. This is Title 4 platting decision, not a construction permit hearing. Staff has already found the plat compliant and recommends approval. Access is legal, physical. Wetland compliance is regulated, permitted, stormwater controls are in place. We are compliant with Title 43. Our access is legal and physical. Wetland, hydrology, water quality has been addressed. We have Army Corps of Engineers and a stormwater pollution prevention plan. Agency comments are positive. Fish and Game has no objections. Runway safety advisory comment, we've modified our plat to accommodate those recommendations. And closing, based on staff's findings, issues, authorizations, water quality requirements, verified access and soils, and our commitment to stormwater compliance, I respectfully request approval for the preliminary plat with staff's recommended conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to open for public hearing. Persons wanting to testify can now step forward. Emerson?
Good afternoon, members of the Platting Board. My name is Emerson Kruger. I work in the Borough Land Management Division, and I'm before you today as a representative of one of the neighboring landowners. I want to point out that we're not objecting to the proposed platting action. I wanted to go on record with an objection to the runway that was maybe inadvertently included in the preliminary plat application materials and showed the runway terminating at the parcel boundaries. Given my background associated with aviation system planning, there are some separation distances beyond the end of any runway that are recommended, and the distances are based on the size of the aircraft that'll be frequenting the runways, and the smallest separation distances for runways for little aircraft are 200 feet. So beyond the end of a runway, the landowner that's got the runway is, per FAA, if they're getting federal funding, required to have 200 feet between the end of the runway and the property that they control. And so when I see a runway that extends to the property line, I want to see that property owner that owns the runway also owns the land that the runway ends at. And that doesn't happen in that preliminary drawing. So the rest of the conversation, I think, would be best directed towards the property owner. So that's what I've got.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
Okay, the next person wanting to testify?
Brian Minster. I'm at the, basically the lot directly west of this development, right across from Horseshoe Lake Road. It's 555 South Horseshoe Lake Road. So you said you sent out 23 notices originally. Do you know who those went to?
You're just here to testify. We don't answer questions back and forth.
Okay, well, that's a big deal. I will be in touch with somebody there. My concern is, and I think I speak for everybody here, most of the people here are directly across from the development. So what are the environmental impacts of this project? It's one thing to get the plat approved. But what about all the environmental impacts this is going to create? This is over 100 acres of wetlands. I've already seen, because I'm directly across the street, wildlife moving across the street, sandhill cranes, swans. They're moving basically out of that area. So that's a concern. Sorry, I thought I could ask questions. This construction is supposed to take place over 5 years. What is the impact on the community, the road system, the traffic? Hopefully that's addressed. I don't know. All of the fill that's been brought in, has there been permits for those? Filling the wetlands?
Sir, this is just testimony.
Okay, well, I will, again, we did send in comments, but we object to this as the plat is written now, but we would just like more information on what the environmental impacts are going to be with this development. And clearly that is the big concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Russ Whitfield, live out there in the neighborhood. I really don't have any issues with a subdivision. I live in a subdivision, so does everyone else. But I was reading the agenda, had the same issue the last person had. We sent in emails with concerns about the subdivision. And on page 3 of the addenda, it shows that there was no responses to the public hearing. And I think our emails were negative responses. My concern is the runway on the south end of the runway next to Horseshoe Lake Road. I just took a shot at it with a rangefinder. It's less, well, we'll say 200 feet from the road. The problem is that small aircraft coming in, as a pilot myself, you're trained to hit the end of the runway. 200 feet from an active roadway is dangerous. And I know that's not your issues here. The FAA takes care of that, I suppose. But the glide, if you go to the FAA and look at the glide slopes of a small aircraft, it's about 3% coming in. 200 feet at 3% means the clearance of a tail of an aircraft, the wheels, is only about 6 feet from the road. So I would propose that that end of the runway gets pushed to the north, just to give more clearance, because
Yeah.
that's
You're good.
that's going to be a fatal issue right there. Also, I know you can't answer any questions. I didn't see on the plat where the roads that have been built are private or public. Private, I don't have any issues with. They were built on muck. Clearing was done, no grubbing. Geotextile went down. They're going to cave in and fall into that muck over time. So if they're public, though, I would hope as stewards, all of you are, of borough tax money, you would go, hey, we can't have this current condition. And I know the engineering department of Matsu Borough didn't have any issues with it, but those roads are just quick and easy access. I don't know if there's planned development of those roads into a more permanent Matsu Borough code compliant, but right now they're not. That's my 2 issues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Janet Whitfield, and I am a longtime property owner and resident of Horseshoe Lake. And I do have concerns, and I object to the subdivision stated, as stated in the recommendations and conditions of approval. I think my husband did pass out my comments. They were sent in, some of these were sent in on January 31st, but I see that nobody made any comments or objections as stated in the write-up. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at it, but on number A is something that I really do have a problem with, is that there's several adjoining and several parcels adjoining the subject property that are landlocked that were created in 1955 prior to the development of roads, when air access and boat access was the only means of access to this whole area. Well, now we're in a road service area, and these properties don't have any legal or physical access to them. But with this subdivision, you have the means to provide access to the property that are landlocked. And then on that handout that I sent in, it lists the different properties. I don't know if you want me to state that right now, but it's there, so please, take a look at it. I still have the same comment about, I don't know what a common access and utility easement CPT means, but my concern is, like he said, that the roads were not built well at all. They were just kind of thrown together. And if they are going to be serviced by EMS vehicles, I don't know if they are adequate to even hold up a fire truck without them fading into the muck out there, because it's all wetlands. The only lot out there that has usable area that I can see is Lot 1. And I did read in the write-up that these lots are going to be accessed by those that, the common access. So if they were not, then I would suggest that a common driveway be constructed for those lots 6, 7, 8, and 9 up on Lakes Boulevard. One of the things that this whole write-up referred to is things that were written for the February 5th meeting. I wasn't here at the very beginning of the introduction. And there's 10 lots, not 8 lots. I believe that's what it's showing on the drawing. But that is, those are my main concerns, and then there are more. I know I'm going to run out of time, so there you go.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
I believe there's someone online that would like to speak. They raised their hand right when we started the meeting, so.
Okay. One moment, sir.
Well, go
We
ahead.
have someone
Go ahead and
online.
let him get up. I didn't signify him, so, okay. Okay. There's a person online at phone number 440-2256. I have unmuted your line. We'll give you 3 minutes to speak after you state your name and spell your last name for the recording, please. Did we lose them? Are you still there? It does not appear they're still there.
Okay, sir, you can come back up. Sorry.
I don't know that this is working right, because now it's making noises again. It won't let me lower or remute.
We're having technical difficulties at the moment. My apologies.
You can go ahead and take his comment. I'll relog us in. Well, I should take a minute and get us logged back in here. Just a minute.
Could you push the button so it turns green and state your name, please?
My name is Jerry Birch, and I own the lot immediately adjacent to Chris and Miranda Holstrom, their first lot that they bought. And I was just going to address the process used in this development, what I call the piecemealing of this development. The first lot that was bought by them, I originally thought that was, just personal property use, and didn't think much of it. And as the process went on, the driveway was built in the fall of 2021, and that was built without a Corps of Engineers permit. And the reason I know that is before the Walstroms were interested in that property, I was interested in that property for my personal use, just that one lot. And I looked into buying that, and I had the Corps of Engineers in my office talking about, I was looking at putting the access in the same place that they had chose to put the access. And I was discussing my options for the wetlands issues to do that driveway. And with some of the issues involved, I ended up not proceeding with that. So now that driveway that was built without the permit is considered the access route for the Horseshoe Lake POA 2025-00048. The process then continued on. They have the updated application from the Corps of Engineers, or to the Corps of Engineers, July 28, 2023, and that's POA 2022-00539. That was conveniently 0.49 acres. And the purpose for that, I believe, is that if you're under 5 acres, you can get by permitting a project with general permits. In this case, they had NWP number 14 for linear transportation projects, and they had NWP number 36 for boat projects. The significance of being able to use general permits is that there's no public comment process involved, or no public notice process required. And then in January of 2025, you got the POA 2025-0048. Again, conveniently, that was 0.49 acres. And that one is done under RGP number 7, Rural Development from the Corps of Engineers. Again, no public comment process or notice is required. So in hindsight, I think from the purchase of the first lot through the in the building of the driveway in 2021 without the Corps permit, and through the 2023 application to the Corps, and then the 2025 application to the Corps, both of which were under half an acre, or 5 acres, I mean. And therefore, all through this process, there's been no public comment required. While that's not illegal, it is what I believe is a deceitful strategy to avoid transparency and public comment. And I think as a result of this strategy, it has created a lot of mistrust, shock to people as they got educated, and angst towards the development from the whole Horseshoe Lake neighborhood. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you, sir. Next person would like to come up and comment?
I'm going to go ahead and try to bring the person online up. So to 440-2256, we're going to try this again. I think you're I can't tell if you're unmuted. You should be unmuted now. Can you speak? I heard you raise your hand, and I don't know what's going on with this Synexus. Okay, can you speak now? Why aren't we getting anything? This says to mute, not unmute.
Unmuted.
There, can you hear now?
Hi, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Can you hear me now? Thank you, and I'm sorry for the technical being able to call in. I'm at work today, but my name is Laura Bruce. You spell that B-R-U-C-E, and I am a neighbor on the lake. And I am asking the Platting Board for a continuance of this decision because between February 5th to now, the plat has changed. It is no longer 8 lots, it is 10 lots. What was being considered was up for public comment was 8 lots, and it's material because all of the findings of fact that the committee relied on were based on 8 lots, 8 distinct lots. The assessor's stamp, which is required for this process, is based on 8 lots, not 10 lots. I think that you'll hear a litany of neighbors that are like, well, we would have commented, and I think that they need to have that opportunity. I think somewhere along the line, their comments were either not heard or not properly recorded, but I think there's a lot of comments. I think one of the main obligations of the Platting Board is to consider the 170 neighbors who have something to say about a runway and 10 lots that would utilize a runway that begins with an approach on the public road and ends with a established trail system of the Mat-Su-Borough, where snow machiners and others, I think this is a dangerous precedent to set. On the material findings of fact, I have spoken to Mandy Solomon, who only reviewed. She is from Fish and Game. There is coho salmon in the stream that runs between these lakes. She was offered an opportunity to comment, but she commented on 8, and as of today, she said she has not been given the opportunity to comment on 10 and doesn't know if it would be material or not. The soil sample, which was done and required by this process, was done in the summer. It only speaks to 8 lots. And I think it's material in that 100% of these lots touch wetlands or are on wetlands. And I think that the soil report is important to know that these are developable lots. I understand you don't have comment on the environmental impacts, but I think that the statements of facts that you used to make your recommendation did not consider changes. And the public did not have comment for those changes. The first time that I saw there was a difference between 8 and 10 lots was this week. So I am asking for a continuation of this decision so that people can comment publicly in writing and matters can be on the record. I think it's important that we follow the rule, and that's under 43.15.016, Section A1A, which is the surveyor stamp that doesn't even match what is being contemplated today. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you for your testimony. Is there anybody else online?
There's nobody else online.
Okay, last chance. Anybody else here want to speak?
Hello, my name is Keith Dobson, and I want to echo everything that Laura just commented on. I agree. All we saw was 8 lots. We didn't see the 10 lots. We weren't allowed to make public comments on the new changes. I also found it interesting that in the report that came in red, it said that there were no responses. I personally emailed Cayman and Fred and others and Kayla many times. So I don't know how that got on the agenda personally. This lot, 162 acres, was sold as undevelopable land. It's clearly recognized as wetland, and sold at essentially $1,000 an acre. It's now being developed into something that is significantly more, and it was never intended to be more than a wetland. I've lived there for a while, long enough to see that during this development process, none of my neighbors saw any of the SWPP protection laid out. No hay bales, we never saw it. We never saw a posted permit even to know what was going on. So there is, I personally would think that our neighbors deserve to have some inspection done of the work that was done to know that the work future would reflect compliance with standards. The best tell of future work is past work. And then finally, I think a full wetland delineation of the entire property with the platted lots would be something that we'd all like to see, because from the aerial photos, there's only a little bit of dry land, all of it's wet, and the only bit of dry land that was there is now filled with a road that honestly I don't think is even in compliance with the Corps of Engineers permit process. So more inspection, more transparency, and the public comments were there. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Dobson. Anybody else?
Yes, my name is Kevin Tabler. I'm also a resident out on Horseshoe Lake. And I'm concerned about scope creep, as others have mentioned. When I first saw the development happening on Feather Lake, which is on I believe the north side of Horseshoe Lake Road, it looked like a separate development. Then I became aware that Lot 3 is a part of this now expanded program on this development. In that, when I started doing a little investigation, I went and looked at POA 2025-00048, and the Department of Army Corps of Engineers prides himself in public involvement. However, in the process that was done, there was absolutely, I can find no evidence whatsoever that there was any public notice that took place. I understand this is a platting part, and it's a part of a phased development, but the way these developments occur is what we're seeing is you're doing the work. A driveway's put in, it's now added to a separate, what appeared to be to the public, a separate development. I see these as two different developments and now combined into one. On the Horseshoe Lake side, which is the road access that goes down, I understand that part of the permit was to construct 6 individual boat docks and install airplane boat launch for the property. Which property are we talking about? The development on the other side of the road or the development that impacts where I live, which is on the Horseshoe Lake side? Two different developments. The transparency has not been there. I understand that, and from what I can see, it looks as if the developers have complied with the existing requirements under Title 43, which I was not aware that you could do a lot of the work and then go to platting and then get it done. And then there's at some point when they go to permit for the various things, then and only then is public comment incorporated. So I'm a bit confused, a bit frustrated. I would hope to ask one question. Was my testimony that was sent in on February 10th ever received? Can I ask that question? Because I don't see it in your packet. It addresses some of the questions that have happened or that have been brought up here. Is that an inappropriate question to ask? Because I know there's other people who I have copies of their testimony that were submitted. So I don't see it in the record anywhere.
So we have Jerry and Keith Dobson
And that's it?
for public testimony in terms of our handout. That's what we got. So that's the only question I'm going to answer.
Yeah,
We're not
okay.
doing
On
question and answer.
for the record, on February 10th, I sent my comments in to the platting at matsu.gov.us, Cayman Reynolds, Tiffany Richards, Brandon Tucker, Kyle Smith, Fred Wagner. Now, didn't receive any reply back. I have to assume, and I do know that those went through. So I'm assuming that you have those, but I would have thought at least appreciated it be included in the public record because I had some comments. I am a pro-development person, and I do not object to development, but it's got to be done the right way. And the way the permitting process is done and handled, I think is backwards to some degree. We should really know what the cumulative effects are before we start letting people piecemeal portions, because scope creep is real. Now I know there's 10 lots. I didn't know that. So I agree, a continuation may be appropriate. I would at least like to have those. Brian McJunkin is another neighbor of mine, had submitted comments. I know because I gave him the email addresses.
Your comments were included in what you're talking about right now. We did read that.
His did.
And your time is over. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, you already testified.
I was going to make a comment about the receiving of the emails. I've got an instant reply back from the Matthew Platting. Immediately that said my email was being recognized as spam and not accepted.
We did receive we read it.
I know you did, but I was just letting you know that is coming out of your IT department, that people are getting response back that their email is spam.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to testify?
I'm Ty Amberg, and I live right across the road from this proposed development here. Couple issues. Number one, the soils report I feel is very misleading. They took that on lot 1, which is far north, and there's high ground there. But I would like to see the borough itself, civil engineer go out there and look at it in the summertime, because that's underwater most of the time. Most of that land is underwater. It stands all year long out there. And another issue I had was the traffic survey from 2012. I'd like to see something a little more current, and I don't know what the engineer's qualifications are there, but the traffic has increased quite a bit since 2012. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else that would like to testify? Nobody? Nobody's online still? All righty, I'm closing public testimony. Can I get a motion from the board? Oh, wait a minute. Nope, nope, nope. Petitioner. Come here.
Don't worry, we wouldn't.
Hi.
Hi, Dana.
Thanks for chatting with us today. I appreciate your guys' time. My name is Dana Rumpel. I'm with Lavender Survey and Mapping. I am the surveyor for the Wallstroms for this adventure. There's a number of things. We have 3 minutes, right? 2?
You get 5.
Oh, okay. There are a lot of comments, and I would like to say that my client has done an excellent job of making sure he is doing all of the things that are required. If he missed something, he has gone back and corrected his miss. A lot of people are talking about the traffic report. The traffic report is actually a equation based on, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know specifically, but it's the lot numbers. So it's not like the bars across the road. That's not part of the Title 43's requirements. So our report does meet the standard that is asked of us. The wetland permits, there have been 2 issued wetland permits. I have personally walked this lot. I can tell you there is places where there's water, and those are where the wetland permits are. The entire lot is not underwater. It has numerous places where it's above ground and there is buildable and septic area. And regardless of that, that is not part of the requirement for lots that are over 400,000 square feet. Everything we've done on this plat meets Title 43, which is what you guys are speaking to today. And while we appreciate the concerns of the neighbors and we hear them, and we are going to address them, and if we can, that's not what we're here to talk about today. The other concern I've heard is the no comments, and also I've heard we didn't know it was 10. I double checked with the Wallstroms because they get mail in this area and I don't. This was publicly notified twice. Kayla, can you verify that? Am I allowed to ask that?
I don't believe it was advertised the second time because it was continued to a date certain. So we don't advertise, we don't send out again for comment.
Oh.
That's why we have to do the date certain.
Oh, okay. It did get continued. We discussed it at the last meeting, that the original notification was for, why it was getting continued. We answered a couple of questions that Ms. Traxler had. It was continued already due to adding 2 more lots. And I believe we did all of our due diligence to do that. I do believe because of the continuation is why the staff report says there were no comments, because the comments came before the continuation is my guess. I'm just guessing at why that is, because we have received quite a few comments. Am I allowed to ask if you guys have any questions specifically for the petitioner on this adventure?
Mr. Kevin?
Yes, ma'am. A question was brought up about the distance of the roadway from Horseshoe Lake Road to the edge of the runway being approximately a couple hundred feet. I'm looking at the runway, and I'm asking this because I am also a pilot. Is there a threshold that is being demarked for that area where the roadway crosses that end of the runway, therefore the runway is moving further forward? Or is what we're looking at on the screen here, the south end of the runway, is that actually the end of the runway?
I'm not a pilot. I mean,
I'm just
I'm a
asking
drone pilot.
As a surveyor, do you know that distance from the roadway?
I don't know it off my hand right now. I can get back to you and give you what that is. I honestly, I do not know what that distance is to Horseshoe Lake Road.
Is there a legend on this map that?
There is an as-built that should be in your packet that shows the extents of the runway, and it's scalable if that is at all any
that's
help.
what I was looking for as well.
Mine is Exhibit B, and this is a little bit of adventurous, 200 feet. There is a tie down area adjacent to it, but if we go to the end, I would agree it's about 200 from the very, very end of that runway.
Correct.
It's about 200 feet.
And that's the question I'm asking is, you see where it looks like there's private driveways entering that south end of the runway and then
Correct.
leaving the runway from east to west.
Correct.
Is that being demarcated as a threshold where you don't land your aircraft on the threshold?
I believe it's a dirt runway.
Okay.
Is there some paperwork that you would fill that out?
Something that's a visual thing for a pilot to see.
I don't know that they know. I don't know if we know if that's a requirement or not.
That may be a question Mr. Wallstrom can answer.
Okay.
That's the only question I have for her.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Is there anybody else that has any questions? Seeing none, you're off the hook.
Thanks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dana. Okay, I would entertain a motion from the board.
Madam Chair, prior to placing it, the motion for acceptance on the board for discussion, I just have to state that I have some real concerns about the public notice process here. I think that's incredibly important to any platting decision, and it's clear to me that there is some discrepancies here between public notices being received about the latest configurations, and also the receiving of public comments. Is there anybody that could comment about that?
Mr. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fred Wagner, Planning Officer. I believe we had the handouts from the previous meeting, and we have handouts to this. I believe that we have most of the comments. The notification area has been met. The people that were required to be notified were all notified. We did check that because there was comment made at the last meeting, and we looked at it. There's a requirement to notify property owners within 1,200 feet of the property. So that's where we're at. We did find that some of the people who had made comment afterwards were greater than 4,000 feet away, wondering why they didn't receive comment, and that's why. That was at the meeting. I didn't respond to an email. A lot of the emails we received were questions, and I will point out to Mr. Dobson, especially his initial comment, he asked to be asked to have it turned in anonymously, and we can't do that. So since we were continuing that case that day, we did not include his comment because we didn't get clear with him whether he wanted us to go ahead and waive that or not. And since we were continuing, we have a chance to hear it today. He has since put in a new comment that is in your handouts that you have received. So I believe the comments have been received. I do think that there could be some consideration for continuance due to confusions, though we wouldn't be notifying the public of the change to 10 lots because of the way the meeting was continued. you would come to this meeting or you would look at the staff report packet. Now, I do see that at the top of it, it has parcels 8, but then in the first sentence, it has 10 lots. So I would leave that kind of to the plating board's decision on whether or not they wanted to go along that line. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner.
Madam Chair. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a
Go ahead,
question.
Mr. Kevin.
I have a question for Mr. Wallstrom. Can I ask him a question?
Would the petitioner like to respond to some questions?
Can you come up to the podium? Thank you. It was pointed out that the airstrip and safety areas were, under FAA designation. Have you received any federal funding for this airstrip in any way?
No funding other than my wife and I. That's it.
It's private.
It's
Everything
private.
on this is
Everything is
private?
private. And the original testimony about the 200 feet, that was the east-west portion, and it was the far east portion in which they were talking about, not the north-south portion.
Correct.
The north-south portion goes over our property with the Borough Road going through. There are other runways on that exact road that both depart and arrive over the road as well. So this isn't some unusual thing. Another landowner has the exact same kind of setup that's right adjacent to the road as well.
And I'm very familiar with all those out there. The question I asked Dana is the area where the driveways are coming across, is there any delineation there for that being a area for landing, or is the entire runway purposed? I mean, I know dirt strips, it's kind of difficult to put any kind of thresholds on. Are you doing anything there to demarc for traffic coming across the road? I mean, I know we usually put signs
potentially
up.
Signage, right? We haven't got to that
For
point.
cars.
Yes.
But for
it's a
aircraft.
private road, private strip, so the public's not going to be involved. If you're going to be out there, you're going to be a part of the community.
Right. And my question is, as for arriving aircraft from south to north, they have the full usable area of that runway.
Currently, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's 200 feet away.
Yeah. And then on the north side, that is the access to the boat ramp, is where the boat ramp is being discussed.
Yes.
Where that, I'll use the word threshold loosely, where it actually doglegs to the northwest and then attaches to Feather Lake. Is Feather Lake the area where the boat ramps are going to be placed?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Mr. Shavetta, did you have a question?
Oh, I got all kinds of questions. For staff, if this runway wasn't on this plat right now, and we approved the plat as is without the runway, what in the title prevents somebody from putting the runway later on?
Mr. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fred Wagner, Platting Officer. Actually, the runway has nothing to do with today's hearing. It has nothing to do with platting. It's not our purview. It's a land use issue, and that's basically what you're getting to. That this is not something that we can really even spend any time on. They're not proposing that this is the only access to the properties. What they're doing on their property, this is called land use, and we don't do land use. So
That was the point of my question. I had a hunch.
All righty, any other questions? All right, can I get a motion from the board?
I move to approve the preliminary plat of Feather Lake, Section 13, Township 18 North, Range 04 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska, contingent on staff recommendations 1 through 5.
Thank you very much. Can I get a second?
I second it.
Thank you very much. Discussion from the board.
Sometimes I talk a lot, sometimes I don't, huh? I understand the concerns about the notice and a change from 8 lots to 10. Everything I heard today are valid concerns from somebody who's having change in their neighborhood. I went through my own subdivision. There weren't people happy that there were changes taking place. I understand your frustrations. I haven't heard any comments today that lead me to believe that if we continued and said, hey, let's notify everyone it's now 10 lots, I don't think any of the comments would have changed. So I know some of us are mulling over a continuance, but we're just going to hear the same thing at the next meeting, quite frankly.
Thank you, Mr. Chivetta. Any other comments? Mr. Kevin?
I agree. I think the change from 8 to 10 lots, because of the scope of the size of the lots, really doesn't affect the test hole that was done. The test hole was done based on the size of that lot number 1. The rest of it is large, big parcels for accessing an area that people are wanting to use for their purposes. The traffic, I guess, impact that I see is minimal based on the size of the lots. There's no reason we should not approve this today based on the criteria that's put before us. Again, the questions I asked about the runway were essentially that the FAA had, or, land management had a question about things, but this doesn't even fall under FAA jurisdiction. That's nothing the borough's concerned about.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. Mr. Levy?
I just want to, I guess, maybe put this question out. There was a question raised as to whether the internal roads that are constructed are private or public. Did you testify that they are private roads? They are private. Thank you.
Any other questions? Are there any objections to approving this? Seeing none, the motion passes. All right, next we have Irons in the Firecrest. The request is to create 6 lots from lots 1 and 2, Patmar Acres number 1, to be known as Irons in the Firecrest, containing 1.93 acres plus or minus. The parcels are located west of South Felton Street, north of East Helen Drive, and east of North Patmar Circle, lying within the southwest quarter section 05, Township 17 North, Range 02 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska, in the city of Palmer, in an Assembly District number 2. To the board. Do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing none. Have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision outside of the public process provided by the borough? Seeing none, are you able to be impartial in this decision? Being an affirmative, Madam Secretary, the mailings, please.
There was 136 public notices mailed November 12th, 2025.
Thank you very much. Staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Chris Curlin, Platting staff. The petitioner requests a continuance to June 4th, 2026 to work through some items with the city of Palmer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curlin. I do not see the petitioner or the petitioner's representative present. Is he online? No. Have to open public hearing. Nobody is present. Anybody online? Okay, I'm leaving public hearing open. Petitioner's not present. Okay. Can I get a motion from the board?
Madam Chair, I move for the continuance of Irons in the Fire Crest preliminary plat within Section 5, Township 17 North, Range 02 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska, to the June 4th, 2026 meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Leving. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kevin. Do I have any objections to the continuance? Seeing no objection, the motion passes. Okay. We have no reconsiderations or appeals. Platting staff comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Fred Wagner, Platting Officer. We have 2 cases coming, I guess 3. Yeah, oh, yes, because we continued this one to that. On the April 2nd meeting, that will be my last Platting Board hearing. So look forward to a good time. Anyways, Ms. Smith, do you have any?
No comment.
No further comments from staff. All right, board comments. Mr. Leaving.
I guess I'll just reiterate some of the comments that I made earlier. I am concerned about the way in which the public notification and the receipt of public comments happened for that last plat. Whether they would have affected the outcome or not is hard to determine, but I really would like the staff to look into some of the circumstances. We had multiple people testify that they had submitted comments well in advance, and yet the staff reported that there were no comments. So I just like somebody to kind of follow up on the process there so we don't repeat that, because I think that actually really affects the public confidence in the process. So that would be my comment.
Thank you, Mr. Leaving. Mr. Kevin, any comments? No comment. Carla?
No comment.
Chris?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Gilson?
No comments.
And no comment for me. I am closing this meeting of the Platting Board at 2:01 p.m. The meeting is adjourned.
Don't play poker on retirement. I could see you squirming during the FAAs. Just a little bit, huh? Like, why do we do it? But I see you were setting it up. That's how that works. That works best.